Good morning, Hillside. We are so lucky to be here together this morning. We have a wonderful, honored guest sitting here beside me, Minnijean Brown-Trickey, a wonderful hero in our society who has truly made a difference in our world. I know that all of you had the opportunity to learn about Minnijean and all of the efforts that she made to make sure that our world was a better place. And today, our Safety Patrol is going to lead us through a series of questions to be able to help us learn even more directly from Minnijean herself. Before I pass it over to our Safety Patrol, can we give Minnijean a warm welcome from Hillside? Let's welcome Miles with our first question.
We have done a lot of learning in our classroom, and our first questions are to help us to get to know you a little better. Did you ever live on a farm?
Did I? Thank you, Miles, for that question. Let me just say, I wanted to be a safety patrol when I was a kid, and I couldn't. My brother was, and I was so jealous. So, okay. So, thank you for that question. Did I ever live on a farm? Yes, I did. I lived on a farm in northern Ontario for about 20 years. We had cows, horses, sheep. I had kids. And it was really very special for me. Yeah, and it was, let me talk about the area. It was a very cold area. So minus 40 Celsius, whatever, and Fahrenheit and Celsius at minus 40 are the same, so you get an idea. But there's a very short growing period in a place that's that cold. So on my birthday, September 11th, I was surrounded with tubs of vegetables that I had to get ready for the winter. So thank you for that question.
What was it like on the farm? It was really...
I was very busy a lot because, well, I'll tell you about, we had these horses called Belgians, and they're really sort of blonde. They have blonde tails. And so my son was in school, and he colored a horse orange. And the teacher said, "Oh, honey, we don't have orange horses." And I said, well, she needs to come at sunset one day and watch those horses come over the hill because they are bright orange. So that's a kind of an interesting thing that I thought of when you asked me. Thank you.
Did you ever have a pet? And if so, could you tell us about your pet?
Did I ever have a pet? I've had a few pets over time. The last pet I had was a dog named Bear. And he was a perfect dog. He was black, and he looked like a black bear. And he lived for 13 years. Now, right now, I have a cat named Hazel. And she's wild and crazy. I don't know what I'm going to do. Thank you for that question.
We learned about your experience at Central High School in our classrooms, and now we have some questions about that.
Let's go with the questions. I don't know if Where the Wild Things Are is a book that you've heard of. Anybody heard of it? So my favorite expression when I meet a group of young people is say, "Let the wild rumpus start." So, do you have, what would you like to know?
Peter, Sam's gonna go next. Thank you.
Hi, Sam.
Hi.
How were you chosen to integrate Central High School?
Okay, that's a really good question, and the answer to that is I chose myself. One of the things that happened was there was a Supreme Court decision that said segregation in public schools is unconstitutional, and it came on the intercom. Do you have intercom here? So it's so disruptive. But anyway, it came on the intercom. If you live in the Central District and you're interested in going, give your name to the homeroom teacher. And I did. I gave my name. And then sort of in the middle of the summer, the principal and the superintendents and people who were in authority had some of us, my parents and me, come and talk to them. And they said, do you want to go to Central? And I said, yes. He said, well, if you come, you can't be in any clubs, you can't play any sports, you can't do anything that's extracurricular. So I said, oh, well, I'm talented, I'm smart, I've got a smile to die for. That's going to change. So that was my thought, that was a temporary idea that we couldn't participate. So yes, I chose myself.
Can you describe your experience of being a student at Central High School?
Can I describe my experience? Well, kind of the way that I kind of talk about it is people have choices how they're going to be in a situation or a time. And so there were people who chose to be in a vicious, horrible mob to call us names and threaten death. There were soldiers who the president called out to protect us, but inside the school, the kids, there were 2,000 white kids and 9 black kids. So you could choose as one of those kids. You could choose to be one of 20 nice kids. So that meant each of us had 2 people who would smile at us as we walked through the hall. I would say about 200 super mean kids who could think of the meanest things you can ever think of to do. And then about 1,750 kids who were silent witnesses, kids who stood by and said nothing. So that's a real concept that I think is so important about when we see something. What do we do? Do we just say nothing? So I worry about the silent witnesses in a situation. So it was horrible. Those mean kids could think of some really brutal things to do. But one of the things that happened when I saw the mob of people, which they said it was about 1,000, screaming hatred, on the first day, said, oh my goodness, I'm never going to be that. I watched those people, and I said, I'll never be like that. So in that very first day, I learned one of the most important lessons of my life, who I wanted to be. So you can't convince me to hate, no matter what you do, and you can't convince me to join a group of people who are doing hateful things. So I'm very happy about that experience that I had to learn that really on the first day.
Okay.
Thank you for that question.
Were there any Central High School teachers that you remember who helped you feel welcomed? Can you share your story?
That's a good question, whether the teachers were different. And well, I have to explain that part of the whole thing of segregation based on all the things that we segregate people on, those teachers were also trained that I was inferior and that they were superior. And so unfortunately, we've all been victims of that training. But I had a teacher who, it was a girls' glee club. I couldn't publicly sing with the girls, but I could be in the class. And she kept order in that class. So I had one teacher, and I think as we tell the story, the Little Rock Nine, we each had one teacher who kept order in the class. A lot of the teachers were terrible, allowed things to happen in the class. One story that Thelma Mothershed tells is if you were buying something like a class ring, the teacher wouldn't take the money in her hand. And so there were little things like that just make you feel bad. So unfortunately, the teachers were part of that training of anti-blackness, and I was sorry for that. So thank you. Teachers are always sad to hear that, but I just have to tell it like it is, okay?
We know that you and the other members of the Little Rock Nine were not treated with respect at Central High School. What gave you the courage to go to school every day?
Okay, that's a great question. I'm still trying to figure it out, okay? I'm 82, and I'm still working on trying to understand why I kept going back. But when I think about it, I kept going back because I couldn't let them stop me because they were being mean. I have to tell you the truth. I started feeling sorry for them because I kept thinking, you know what? I got a new dress. I got new shoes. I was excited. I thought you were going to be just like me. And I come here and you're not. So I feel sorry for you. And that was kind of like, when something is really hard to do, you have to think of all these really crazy ways to keep doing it. And so I kind of did it because you just have to. And I wish I could explain, but I can't. I just know that I kept going. But I'm going to say one other thing. It's called Children Can Make Presidents Act. So the whole idea of the governor trying to stop us from going to school was that we would go home, hide under our beds, crying. And I think we individually made the decision, no, we're not going to do that. If we're going to be crying, you're not going to see it. So we went home and we said, we're going back. I mean, individually, each of us said, we're going back. And because we went back, even though it was dangerous and scary, the President Eisenhower had to help us by sending troops to take us in the school. So keep that in mind, you guys. I don't care how old you are, how young you are. For your life, remember, kids can make presidents act. Thank you.
How did you end up in Hastings?
How did I end up in Hastings? Well, I got expelled from Central High School, and the reason I got expelled was because I was tall, beautiful, and proud, okay? And that, when people feel that you're inferior, that makes them very angry. So they were always doing things to me like, I don't want to, just too graphic to talk about some of the things. But, so anyway, I got expelled after 5 girls attacked me and blah, blah, blah. And Dr. Mamie Clark, who lived here, was from Hot Springs, Arkansas. And Dr. Kenneth Clark was they had done this work on, it's called The Doll Story. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. So he came to our house and said, I'm on the board of this super duper school, and they've agreed that they would accept Minnijean, and she can live with us and share my daughter Kate's bedroom. And I didn't know how to feel about leaving home because I was the oldest and I was such a helper and I did babysitting and all that. So my mother said to him, both my parents said, she decided to go to Central, so she gets to decide if she wants to do this. And I wasn't sure. But anyway, I decided, and I came to Hastings, 17 Pinecrest Drive, shared the bedroom with Kate Clark, was friends with Hilton, and here I am still, after many years. That's how I ended up in Hastings. And I loved it.
How did the Clark family make you feel welcome?
How the Clark family make me feel welcome? Well, they treated me, since I was roommates with their daughter, we were really good friends. I had to ride with Kate. Their daughter went to school, to Hastings High School, for 1 year while I was here, and then she went away to college. And so I was the only child in the house because their son went to Kent School. So I was the only child. So hey, they were my parents, kind of. We did family things. The Clarks had a tradition of going to a restaurant every Friday at the end of the week because they both worked in Manhattan. So I was from Arkansas, and I had never had Chinese food. So can you believe how thrilling it was to go and have Chinese food? I had never been allowed to bowl because bowling was for whites only. And Kate had friends who came, and we went bowling. So it was I lived in a very, I think, sad place where there are only two groups, black people and white people. And so when I came to New York, I saw people in saris, and I heard people speaking various languages, and it was like so wonderful to me because I had been stuck in this place where there are only two groups of people. So for my own children, I said, you're not going to grow up like that. You're not going to be stuck in one space. You're going to explore the whole world, get to know people and go to places in the world. So, yeah, so that's what made me feel comfortable. Thank you.
This weekend, our village will honor the Clarks with signage on Mount Hope Boulevard.
That is really amazing that you're going to get a street with your name on it. Because you know what? Most street names are people who have probably aren't still alive, and we don't know who they are. And so this is really kind of interesting. This is about people who we might have known, or could have been our next door neighbors. Very ordinary people who did extraordinary things. So, good question. Thank you.
What do you feel that we can learn from the doctors Mammy and Kenneth Clark?
What can we learn from Doctors Mamie and Kenneth Clark? Well, they were both psychologists, and Dr. Mamie had a Northside Center for Child Development, and so her specialty was working with kids, psychological issues with children. Dr. Clark taught at City College in New York, was a great admirer of Albert Einstein. He wrote several books, so what he's done, his legacy is they're very, very solid legacies, and you may or may not experiencing their wisdom in this part of your life, but later as you go to university, you'll see that they were very, very important people in the field of psychology and social justice. So thank you.
What job did you choose to do? Why did you choose to do it?
What job did I choose to do, and why did I choose to do it? So by 82, I've had a lot of jobs. So I was farm partner, majored in journalism in university in my first part of life. Then I had a period of raising 6 kids and farming. That took up an awful lot of my time. But I was a fabulous gardener, and my garden was so beautiful, people used to come on tours, okay? I later went to school for another skill, because if you're on a farm for about 20 years, your skills are all sort of lost. So I went to university for social work, and I was very fortunate that I did indigenous social work, and indigenous is about who we call the native people of this continent. And so that was really, really interesting, a whole understanding. Then I ended up going to get another degree, and while I was doing that, I worked with immigrant and refugees, and that's a whole interesting thing. One of the ways that I made sure my kids were part of that was we had dinners once a week, and my 2 daughters were the babysitters. So there are all these international women, and my daughter's in there. So I was brainwashing them about how we can encourage people across cultures in our lives. What do I do now? I do speaking. Last week, I was in Youngstown, Ohio, for a commemoration of what they call Nonviolence Week. So I spoke to 2nd grade, 3rd grade, I can't even remember, middle school, high school, and university in that week. So I'm kind of wound up, okay? Thank you so much. Right?
What advice can you give to us to ensure that our school is always welcoming to all?
What advice can I give? Well, that's a question that actually is very close to my heart. One, when I told you that I learned from that mob that I would never join a group that was about hate, and so one. The other thing is what I also teach is nonviolence, and it's kind of hard to teach nonviolence, but nonviolence is a way of life for courageous people. So maybe I've gone to schools and asked them to put up the 6 principles of nonviolence in different places in the school, because we mostly don't have chance to teach about nonviolence. So that's a really important thing. And then so many of us in the civil rights movement, we talk about the beloved community. So that's my wish. And that's why I like hanging out with you guys, because it's through our conversations that we come close to the idea of a beloved community. So if we think about what we want peace, we want nonviolence, we want good relationships with other people. And so as long as we see each other as special, we won't have any trouble welcoming people to our lives, our school, our whole being. Thank you for that question. So now do you see why I was jealous of my brother from being a safety patrol?
All right, so thank you so much, Minnijean, for answering all of our questions. Now, Hillside, Minnijean has a surprise for you. Just like all of us here at Hillside, Minnijean loves music, and she has a special song to share with us. So Mr. Lopez is backstage. He's going to cue it up for us.
Okay. So it's a song that I recorded. The song was written by a high school teacher, and there's a part where I'm going to ask you to. We'll get it.
Central High School, Arkansas, in 57, I'm stood tall. Teenagers, they led the way. In the face of hatred, they changed our fate.
There's going to be a part where we got to put it up. Scream it out.
Chose to be there, did what's right. Challenged the system, non-violent fight. Faced the standard of segregation. Shaped the future, changed our nation. Little Rock 9.
When this comes up next time, we're going to be ready.
In the schoolyard, let's face the mobs. Governor said, do not cross. In came the airborne to let them pass.
She's going to radio and say, turn it up.
An escort to get to class.
Okay, we got it. Little Rock 9. Yeah.
We were harassed every day. Inspiring brave, we turned away. Heads held high, we walked the halls. And I walked like I belonged. Oh yes, like I belong. Little Rock 9.
Yes. This is the real message of the song.
Ordinary people do extraordinary things. Don't be silent, don't be afraid. Ordinary people do extraordinary things. You might be someone's hope someday. You might be someone's hope someday. Might be someone's hope
Thank you so much. You see why I like this? Can you imagine looking out at beautiful faces and feeling your energy and your inspiration? Thank you so much.
So Hillside, we have a lot of thank yous for today. And before we begin, I'd like to start by inviting Robert up to thank Minnijean Brown-Trickey for joining us today. Minnijean, we hope that you felt welcome and loved here at Hillside.
Yes. Thank you so much, Robert. Great.
I'd like to thank our Clark Commemoration Committee. We had an amazing group of teachers in our school, as well as amazing community members and helpers to be able to make today possible. So let's give a big round of applause, Hillside, to all of them. And I'd like to leave you with some very important messages. As Minnijean was talking with us and sharing with us, there were some things that really resonated with me. You know that our core values here at Hillside are respect, courage, and curiosity. And I want you to think about each of those core values in relation to what Minnijean said today. When thinking about respect, Minnijean talked to us about the fact that she was in a high school of 2,000 kids, 20 of which showed respect to Minnijean and the other members of the Little Rock Nine. Only 20, but those 20 made a difference. So think about how the respect that you can show each day can truly make a difference to others. Secondly, Minnijean talked to us about courage. She talked to us about if you see something, say something. Don't just stand there and watch, do something. She actually said that kids can make presidents act. Think about that. Think about the power that you have. You are empowered to be able to do great things. She also said that ordinary people did extraordinary things. Each of us alone can do amazing things, so keep thinking about how you can make a difference. Finally, she talked about curiosity. She shared how she's encouraged her own children to explore the world, to get to know all different people, because that's what makes us such a better community. The last thing I will leave you with is when Minnijean shared, as long as we see each other as special, all will be okay. And I truly believe that. Here at Hillside, each of you is very special. Our community is very special. And today we've been very privileged to be able to have Minnijean Brown-Trickey join us this morning. Can we give a huge round of applause to Minnijean? Do you want to bring her up? I'd like to welcome Spirit Trickey, Minnijean's daughter. Spirit, did you want to come up and give a wave? Just a quick wave. Can everybody give a round of applause to Spirit? All right, Hillside, one last round of applause. Thank you so much, Minnijean, for being here with us today.
Thank you all. You're beautiful.
Hillside, we're going to begin dismissing. Second grade first will head out through the door on this side. Third grade, you'll head out through the door on this side. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, Cheryl. Let's just sit here. You get it?
Yep, I think I got it. Just double check it. Because I don't know what's a little stuff.
Are you in charge of your safety?
I am. I'm Julianne. I'm the school counselor. I'm so honored to be here. And thank you. This is like the highlight of their.
So adorable.
Thank you. And if you're not too tired, could we take a picture with you? Absolutely. Safety patrol. Why don't we come up and stand next to Minnijean? Hi.
Yeah.
I like your necklace.
Thank you.
You know what? You got a couple right here in the front. We have a couple sitting there. One knee right in the front. One knee right in the front.
No hiding.
Either side over this way.
Okay, wow. Wow. What a group. Great questions.
I'm going to stand in for a picture.
Yeah, you got to have the counselor in there. Right.
Oh, my jaw.
Oh, I'm smiling.
When I smile, fabulous job asking questions about honor.
Thank you. I love your questions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you all a big hug. I'm so proud of you, okay? Go back. Please share this story with your family.
Absolutely fabulous. I didn't do that. They were great. They're great.
Girl, you are amazing.
Ready to rock and roll? Yeah. I got your watch. Oh, by the way, the kids are absolutely fabulous.
That's a good idea.
Hi.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If you're not always there.